Hey, Bruce Hurton here, and welcome to this training where we're going to be going over profit and loss statements. So I'm going to be showing you in depth of exactly how these all fit together. But firstly, what I want to say, and kind of the reason why I'm doing this video, is to help you out, or help people out that have the limiting beliefs that actually I'm no good with numbers. I can't do numbers. I've never been taught. Numbers are not my thing. They're not my forte. I'd rather get someone else to do it. Stop. You cannot do that. In business, you have to understand your own numbers. You have to be in control of your own numbers before you can actually go forward and start understanding where your business needs to go. If you've got a business that, you can potentially grow, you need to know your numbers and whether or not you've got the cash flow, whether you've got the money in the pot, whether you're making enough money as it is to be able to grow that business. Now, without that, you are literally, to coin a phrase I've already used, is flying, or I always use, is flying by the seat of your pants. Now, that will only take you so far. So what you need to do is really, if you've got this limiting belief in your head that you're no good with numbers and you can't do this kind of thing, what you need to do is completely remove that. Forget that you even think that at the moment, because we're gonna destroy that. We're gonna help you understand exactly where you are in your business by going through the profit and loss statement in very much detail and helping you understand how it all fits together. And it's very, very simple. So please don't think this is going to be a difficult lesson. It's absolutely not. So the way to think about this as to liken it to something like a sports game or something like that is to think about it as a scorecard. You wouldn't actually go and watch a football match without people keeping score. If you was to go and watch a football match and people were just kicking a ball round and it was going in the net every now and again, and you didn't really understand what was going on and no one knew what the score was, would you really go? You wouldn't, because it wouldn't be there. You wouldn't have that kind of, there's winning and there's losing. We like to see a team win and, or draw, and we like a good game. And the heart of that game is effectively a team walking away winners, or drawing effectively, or losing. That's the way it is. And we need to look at the business in the same way. This is your scorecard for your business. And you need to look at it in the same way. You need to know the scores, you need to know the figures, you need to know how you're doing in your business. Otherwise, you are literally just kicking the ball around the field, not really knowing when you're going to score, if you're going to score, if you have scored, if you haven't scored, or actually, if you're 50-0 down. You just don't know. So this is so important. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight in, and I'm going to start taking you through how this all fits together so that you can go away and you can actually look at your own figures in your business and actually understand, maybe for the first time, how you're doing in your business. So let's get to it. So the first thing that we want to talk about is revenue, sales, and income. So basically, they're all the same thing. So revenue, the money that comes into the business; the sales, the money that comes into the business; the things that you sell; the income, they all mean the same thing. They're all the money that comes into the business, the top line money, what you charge out to the customer. So for this example, we've done 500,000. So let's say this is a monthly profit and loss statement. I would like you to do this on a monthly basis. In fact, I'm saying you have to do this on a monthly basis at the very least, so that you can actually get a good handle on where you are in your business. So the first one is 500,000. Now, 500,000 is what we've had in, and that is what we've sold. That is the sales that have come into the company. The second part that we're looking at is the cost of goods sold. Now, how the cost of goods is made up is effectively, the best way I can describe it from the service industry point is it's the cost to do the job. So effectively, the cost to do the job could effectively be subcontractors. It could be materials. It could be waste disposal. It could be a skip. You get the idea. Anything to do the job would be the cost of goods. So hopefully we get that one. So the cost of goods in this month to actually generate 500,000 is 250,000. So that's 250,000. So that's cost us 250,000 to generate that 500,000. So the next part we look at is the gross profit. So the gross profit, if we take away 250,000 from the 500,000 pounds that we've had in, we've got 250,000 pound left. So now we say this is our gross profit. So we've got a gross profit of £250,000 here. So effectively, we've got £250,000 left after bringing in 500,000 and then paying all of the materials and everything it costs to do that job out of that money. We've got £250,000 left. So now what we have to do is, now we've got that pot of £250,000 left, we now need to think about things like your fixed expenses, which are things like wages. And when I say wages, I'm talking about people that are employed in your company, yourself, your admin lady, your accounts lady, all these people, they're on your wages. They're on your payroll. Then you've got your van insurance, you've got your rent, you've got your subscriptions, you've got your business rates, you've got your fuel, you've got your phone. You've got all those other things that you can probably think about right now that you're paying out of your business on a monthly basis to keep that business running. They're fixed costs. They come out every single month. They're the things that keep the door open. So it's actually, in fact, to keep the door open, you need to generate this much money. So that is fixed expenses of 200,000. Now, each one of these added up would come to 200,000. So they're your fixed expenses. So basically what we do now is your gross profit minus your fixed expenses. So remember, the gross profit is that pot of money that we've got left over after paying out your cost of goods sold. So that out of that pot of money left over, we now take the fixed expenses, which is the 200,000, which then leaves us with a net profit down the bottom here of 50,000. So we've got £50,000 after everything has been paid. I've now got £50,000 left as profit within your business. So that's what's left. So this is what's referred to as your net profit. Now, a lot of people like to do this in percentage and percentage margin ways. So what we want to do is we want to go down the same route. We want to have a look at what that looks like. So if we look at the red section here, we can see that actually the 500,000, that's 100%. So because basically that's 100%, that's one number, that's the total amount you've had within the business. So the percentage of that one is 100%. The cost of goods sold is 250,000. So that is 50% of what you've actually made. So it's cost you 50% of your 100% to actually generate. So it's cost you 50% out of that money to generate that 500,000. So the next one we come to, which is a really important one, is the gross profit. Now people refer to this in business as the gross profit margin. So your gross profit margin on this is 50%. Now you can see that we've made 500,000 in sales, and it's the gross profit we've got left over after taking out our cost of goods sold is 250,000. So 250,000 is 50% of the 500,000 that we originally generated in sales, revenue, income, whatever you like to call it. So we say that as a 50% margin. So you'll be talking to people and they'll say to you, what's your gross profit margin on your business? And you'll say, well, we're running at about 50% at the moment. And that's what they're talking about. We're looking at 50%. So it's the money that you've got left over after paying out the 250,000 that it costs to do the job. And then you've got the 250,000 left over out of this 500,000 that you originally brought in. The next part is your fixed expenses. Well, we can say that your fixed expenses are costing you 40%, because 40% obviously is 200,000. So your 200,000 out of your 500,000 is your 40%. So that is your fixed expenses. So the next important part is the net profit. And we say this is the next part that you will talk about when you're talking to someone, or someone that's interested in your business, or interested in talking to you about your business. Or maybe a question that I'm going to ask you in the future. What is your net profit margin? Well, your net profit margin here is 10%. Because we're looking at 10%, 500,000, we got 50,000 net profit margin here, £50,000. So that is a quick run through, quite in-depth run through. Hopefully you completely, you get that, you completely understand it. I'll give you another quick run through. Sales at the very top here. This is what comes into your business. This is what you generate in sales. So when you sell all your jobs, you sell 5 jobs on a daily basis for £100 a job. You generate £500 a day. That is your sales. That is your revenue. That is your income. So in this example, I've given it 500,000. This is a monthly profit and loss. The next part is the cost of goods sold. So the cost of goods sold is effectively what it costs you to do the job. So we've put down here subcontractors, materials, waste disposal, anything that it actually costs you to do that job. That's what you want to be putting in here. So the cost to do the job, that's cost us 250,000. The next part is what's left over of that 500,000, excuse me, after taking out the 250,000. So we've got the 500, we've taken the 250 out, we've got 250 left in our pot. So we've taken the 250, now we've got 250, which is a 50% margin, because it's 50% of a 500. So there we go, we've got 50% margin. The next part is your fixed expenses. These are all the expenses that come out of this. They come out of this part here. So 200,000 comes out of the 250,000, which leaves us in the bottom line here with a net profit of £50,000. And then we look at what margin is that? What net margin are you working on in your business? Well, I'm working on a 10% margin. That is what you need to be aware of. You need to know this stuff within your business. You need to be able to put your finger on this stuff at any point. And most of all, you need to be looking at this at the very least on a monthly basis to really understand your business and where your business needs to go and the heartbeat of the business, what the business is telling you. Your business is telling you a story through all of these figures. It's telling you that actually, when you get to this bottom line here, we're on a minus. And when you're in a minus, these go into brackets. So if this was different and this become out a minus, we know we're in trouble. We know that we're spending more money than we're actually getting in. You know, we're spending more money. So things need to change. But if you didn't know this, if you wasn't doing this in your business, then effectively you wouldn't know. So you're gonna hit the iceberg before any warning. You're gonna hit the iceberg. You're gonna crash. Your business is gonna die. You're gonna leave yourself in a world of, you know what I mean. All because you didn't put any time or effort into learning your financials. So that's it from me. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. It's a really in-depth but quick way of looking at your profit and loss. Please do this on a monthly basis. If you don't have the software to do this, go through it. Go through QuickBooks, go through Xero, go get Sage, get one of those softwares, and you can go through, and if you long as you punch all of this stuff into your software, you will effectively get the numbers out the other side. And not only that, if you're VAT registered, it makes it a ton easier for you to print out your VAT and your VAT liability and your VAT statements. So that's it from me. Hopefully that's been helpful. Take care. See you soon.